has. I've done that before.
That's the problem.
Hey everybody, what's happening? Welcome to Hawk Wins Radio Picture Show. My name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
We have an awesome show for you guys today. Today is the 3rd of July. It is 4th of July Eve. Jay, I hope you're ready to leave some whiskey and some firecrackers out for Kid Rock tonight.
Dude.
I know he's coming. I hope you've been a bad little rebel, you.
Oh, always, dude. I've got like 29 M80s and like half sticks of dynamite ready to blow up, man.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Let's do a finger check real quick.
Alright. I gotta make sure I have 10 tomorrow. Or
10 here?
On the 5th.
Next week, you better come back with 10 and your toes, too.
Fuck that.
Well, I don't know. Some people light some bottle rockets off with their toes. I've seen it happen before.
You ever have like Roman candle fights?
Oh, I love those candle fights.
Roman candle fights are the best.
Into a bucket of gasoline. That's a real good way to celebrate America right there.
True.
Yeah.
Also, today, Demo's Cafe has trivia night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Demo's?
Demo's, the pizza place.
Pizza joint.
But they opened up a new location in Lincoln Square.
Cool.
Yeah. And they have a trivia place tonight. I promised my friend I was gonna like shout it out.
Shout out Demo's. Hey, I hope y'all are watching. I love Demo's pizza. It's one
They
of
have
my
some
favorites.
nice slices, dude.
Really
They
good.
got that fucking elote slice or whatever.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like corn and like pretty much what you get like on a corn, but like they put it on a pizza.
Oh man,
Fucking great.
I've had chicken and waffles pizza there.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
Demo's is bomb.
Demo's
Demo's
is
is one of my
bomb.
favorite spots.
They also in like the Wicker Park location, they got bands playing every so often.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about
Pretty cool.
that.
Yeah.
Cool. Shout out Demo's. Hopefully
yeah.
we can do a show there one time.
Live stream.
Yeah.
Live.
They're representing.
Eat all the pizza we can eat. That'd be terrific.
They can pay us in pizza, that's fine.
Hey, I would totally pay.
It's more than I'm making now.
Yeah. Demo's, maybe you can sponsor. Hey.
There you go. Dude.
Work for pizza. But yeah, no, everything good with you? Anything new and exciting going on?
I wouldn't say new or exciting. Just normal.
Hey, normal's good.
Normal.
Is good.
What are you gonna do for the 4th, man? Any crazy 4th plans, dude?
I
You dressing
always,
up?
yeah. Shout out to my girlfriend's company, Moments of Magic Chicago. We're hired for the, I think, 3rd or 4th year in a row now for the Lake Bluff Parade. It's super cool. They have this big parade that goes through all of Lake Bluff, and we dress up as different characters. I've dressed up as Captain America for the last 4 years, and it's been awesome. It's been really cool.
America.
America. One of my favorite parts, though, it's really cool. There's a lot of veterans that will show up, and it's really cool to like walk up to them as Captain America and like thank them. Like that's the shit that like gives me chills at night. I love doing it, and the kids are really fun. They're really into it, and you know me, dog. I ham it up. Like I'll go past the kid, but I like pretend I'm in slow motion so the kid remembers it forever, you know?
True.
But we have a good time, and yeah, I'm excited to hang out by the lake after, and yeah, enjoy that water, man. Enjoy the water. Other than that, I'm getting ready for the NASCAR event, too. I got a gig working that with my friends with Cabinet of Curiosity.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to be the whale puppet, but they're currently giving it a fire paint job right now, so it's going to be a flaming whale, which will be really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to my buddy Chris Messer, who's painting it right now, and my buddy Frank Maudry, who's the head of Cabinet of Curiosity. It'll be really fun. And then I got another gig coming up for Sundays on State Street on the 14th of July. So if anyone's around, Sundays on State Street is a really awesome thing. I think is it every Sunday? It's a lot of Sundays throughout the summer, but they'll pretty much shut down State Street and just have it open to street vendors and musicians, entertainment, and we have an awful lot of fun with it. I've done it maybe 3-4 years now, on and off, with different companies, performing with them, and it's been a lot of fun. So that being said, hope all you Chicagoans are out there enjoying all the free Chicago fests, and
It's festival season, baby.
yeah. You going to any fests yet?
There's a Michelada Fest happening.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Where's that at?
It's in Pilsen, I think, or somewhere in the south side.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I was at Pride Fest a couple weeks back.
That was
pretty
fun. Yeah.
Pride Fest is always a good time. I have a new favorite, like, it's not a kink of mine by any means, but it's just funny. I just think it's funny and it's really cute, and I wish I had the balls to do it. I mean that in more ways than one.
I don't want to hear about you getting choked, Jack.
No, it's the people who dress up like the dogs. It's like the leather bondage people. They have the dog mask. And I saw a dude in a cage dressed as a dog.
Shit.
I'm not sexually attracted to this by any means, but I'm just like, I'm fascinated. I'm just so fascinated, and I kind of want one of the masks. Just so I can lick out of the bowl of my girlfriend, like, holding on a leash.
You know, it's you kind of want to be told what to do every once in a while, you know?
Yeah, I had a weird childhood. It's a weird Freudian thing. We're still trying to work it out, but, you know. Hey, you know,
Dominance in the woman is sexy sometimes, you know?
It is. But you know what it is, though, man? I think So my mom was a cop. So I think I like a woman who can kind of like rough me up a little bit. You know what I mean? It's a weird Freudian thing. Again, we're still trying to work.
I wouldn't say weird, but whatever.
Hey, you like what you like. You know what I mean? Some like you're rough.
You're funny, dude. Yeah, man.
Well, this has been an interesting opening to any show we've done, but no, man, I'm hoping to get to some fest with you too, man. I know we've got a couple things coming up soon. We're trying to get to the next Critical Mass. I think the last Friday of every month, Critical Mass is the big.
All you bike riders out there.
Yeah.
All you fixie fools.
Yeah. Hopefully we can make it out there this month. I think it'll be really fun. We got some cool stuff in plans. So, but yeah, man. Well, what do you say we get at the show and let's have some fun today, huh?
Dude, I've been excited all week, man.
Me too.
We got an awesome show today.
Antillion is in the house tonight. Everybody put your applause together for Antillion.
Yo.
What up, guys?
Thank you so much.
How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Robert and I just came from his place. We were recording a little cover that we're going to put up on, YouTube eventually. But that's fun. Just always nice to get to, come together to do any band activity for any reason,
right.
Especially in an environment that's not super loud, yelling over each other. We get to hang out and talk, so it's been a good day.
What cover was it?
Ooh, yeah, I mean, I teased it very obviously.
That's true.
Yeah, we're covering "Son of Robot" by Dance Gavin Dance, which will be fun. It's gonna be a really good time.
Real quick, so Antillion, is that a Dance Gavin Dance reference?
Almost,
kind of.
By accident?
We got Antlion or something like that?
Yeah, that's okay. So if you want to get into the backstory of how we came up with the name, really how I came up with the name, I'll take credit for it because it actually came about by accident. The song Antlion by Dance Gavin Dance, I didn't know it was 2 words, a bug. I thought the bug was pronounced Antillion, and I was like, oh, that sounds so cool, and it's also the name of the singer in the song when he wasn't even in the band. And then I learned it was
well, you never even just read it closely enough.
it's Antlion, that's the song, and yeah, so made up word, and it's
because when I first saw you guys as a band on paper or whatever on words, I'm like Antlion, that's and then I read it correctly. I'm like, oh, Antillion.
Listen, it's funny because at the time we said all right, a nonsense word is a great one to land on because then it doesn't really create too many presuppositions in people's minds. But it's almost funny because we've kind of accidentally done a conditioning thing where people who recognize Dance Gavin Dance might be is this a Dance Gavin Dance band before they even hear us and hear that yes, we are actually.
So post-hardcore whatever band.
Exactly. So it all fell into place somehow. But we love that.
Cool, man. Yeah.
And you guys have been around since 2022. Is that correct?
Roughly.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how y'all got started?
I was gonna say, I feel the origin story is yours.
It starts with you.
mine. Okay, so I met Bobby on an app called Yik Yak. It's think of Twitter, but it's range restricted, within 5 miles, I think, and it's anonymous. So it's short text that everyone can see in a 5-mile radius around you, and it's completely anonymous. You have no idea. And I think he posted yo, I really want to play some punk rock right now. I want to start a band. And I was like, dude, I also want to start a band and play punk rock. And then we literally just leaked our Snapchats on this anonymous app. We started talking. We found out that we went to the same high school. He was a senior when I was a freshman, so we didn't know each other, but we knew some of the same people. And I met Noemi, I think a little bit before that. We auditioned for this ensemble at UIC. We both went to UIC, but she's graduated now. And we were both auditioning for this pop rock ensemble, and she was wearing some Dance Gavin Dance merch, ironically, and I was wearing a Dance Gavin Dance hat, and I was like, yo, we have to talk to each other. But I just approached her and hey, I like your shirt. Want to be friends? And that's basically how it started. Yeah, we went through a couple of iterations of, other guitarists, bassists, vocalists, and we eventually just found people online. We found Mike online. Our bassist Al we found online, and it kind of stuck. We got really lucky with the people that we were able to find. So
Oh, yeah, that's what's So
Yeah, I think I have, like, in my Snapchat memories, like, one of the first rehearsals with just me, Bobby, and Robert, like, the day before Halloween, 2022, October 2022. We were just playing covers, and then we ended with the jam that ended up ending on a bad note. But
That's crazy.
we were just playing, like, Ain't It Fun by Paramore, The Suffering for a while, just like
Thank you for
we
the
were
venom.
just, I don't know, we didn't know what we were
amazing.
doing. We were just having fun, like trying to find the chemistry or whatever, and it worked out. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah.
And are y'all originally from Chicago, or where do y'all reside around the city?
Yeah, I'm by Midway. I live in Gage Park, but I'm born and raised in Chicago here.
I am from Chicago suburbs. So is Bobby. But since we went to school in the city, we're all kind of based around Chicago. So
Yeah.
Or Bolingbrook?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I'm a transplant to Chicago. I live up in Edgewater right now, but I was born and raised in North Carolina. And then I was in New Jersey for a little bit, which is like honestly where I kind of like fell in love with like DIY music, because my college roommate was like very big into bands. So like the New Jersey scene, even though like I literally haven't been back since I graduated college, which is like a terrible, terrible crime. But also it was COVID. It's like, what are you gonna do? I'm broke. I mean, sue me. But I do credit like that Jersey scene with a lot of just like my development as a musician and someone who was like, okay, this is really something I can do. And also like after college I moved back to North Carolina, and I was like, yeah, like being north of the Mason-Dixon line is like way cooler. So I like started looking for jobs in like, a couple cities up here where I had like family, and I have an older sister in the city, so I landed in Chicago, and obviously I've loved it here. It's great.
Good deal. What do you say we go down the line here? Maybe introduce yourself to the camera. Let us know your name, where you fit in the band, your position in the band, and tell us your favorite ice cream.
Let's
Ice
go.
cream. Okay. Well, okay. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Noemi. I play guitar and Antillion. Okay. Favorite ice cream? I think I'll probably have to go with like a cookies and cream kind of thing, or maybe like a cookie dough. But I don't discriminate.
I respect that heavily. I love that. I'm Mike. I do vocals in Antillion. I'm like usually the one yapping on social media, but like everyone helps out a little bit. With just like content and stuff, but especially on Twitter, like that's just me unfiltered. I claim responsibility for all that. Blame me. And my favorite ice cream flavor, to get like really annoying and specific with it, Jenny's has a like a gooey butter cake flavor.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's good.
So good, it's crazy. But like in like a general sense, I love like like brownie pieces and cookie pieces. Exactly. Like cheesecake pieces. I just love like something about that texture. Just does
Cold
it for
Stone.
me. Right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm Robert. I play drums in Antillion, and I'm gonna go with cookie dough. I have a sweet tooth, but I think cookie dough is just the best for me.
Love it.
That third question might have been the softest question I've ever asked.
I was gonna say.
What's your favorite ice cream, bro?
Oh, dude, I like Blue Moon ice cream.
That's huge.
I love Blue Moon, but it's weird. I didn't find this out until I was older. It's just almond flavored.
Really?
It's just almond flavored.
I never knew
It's
that.
blue. Yeah, I don't know. That or
The blue
something
flavored
crazy.
things just taste better.
Right.
Something
right.
crazy.
And then mentally, it's cooler. Right? How about you? What's your favorite ice cream?
I got two. I got ube and chocolate.
Oh,
Ube is like a purple color thing.
It's like a sorbet.
It's taro, right?
I think so.
It's like
it's like a sweet yam.
yeah, it's like a potato.
It's really delicious.
It's like a potato.
Have you?
It's like a.
It's almost like a sweet bean.
I've had an
flavor.
ice cream version, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, it's delicious. There's like a mochi donut place that does ube flavored donuts that are apparently crazy. Chicago's full of too much cool,
Yeah.
expensive shit.
Right. It's expensive, especially if you got an appetite for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
too.
for real.
Find just about anything a stone's throw away.
Exactly.
I see we got some people leaving some comments down here below. I see our buddy Robert Nowakowski, who we're going to give a shout out to later on today. He says, "Go Robert." There's also AKA Ryan.
Woo!
Yes, that's our
says
guy.
Antillion LFG, which I imagine stands for legs for going.
I love that.
Yeah,
Locomotive.
Okay.
Utilitarian.
And then there's Karen Zilla. That's a funny name. I really like that.
I do like
Zilla.
I actually don't know that one off rip.
And she's just leaving us a smiley face. So thank you, Karen. I'm happy you're enjoying the show, and it's not a complaint.
Please don't rally outside our studio.
Yeah, please. Right? We are definitely not at Q4 Radio today.
Yeah.
If anyone's out there listening, leave us a line down below. Drop us a comment. If you have any questions for the band, or if you have any questions for me or Jay, leave us a message down below. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know where you're messaging in from. Unless, of course, you're from Naperville, then we don't care.
It's so good.
I'm kidding.
That's fantastic.
So let's get back to the brass tacks. Antillion, where's the best place y'all have ever performed, whether in the city of Chicago or elsewhere?
That was the easiest question I think we're going to get.
Yeah.
Our last show was at Cobra Lounge. We headlined with
Fantastic.
Lucky Girl Syndrome and My Life at the Bottom of the Ocean, and it was just fantastic. We brought way more people than we thought we would.
It was like a Thursday.
Yeah.
We were like, no shot, we get people downtown on a Thursday. It was stellar.
Getting people down on a Thursday is hard.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just like the sound there was fantastic. The room is great. I mean, they were super professional and wonderful to work with. So, it was a blast. And, I think the largest stage we've been on so far was Cubby Bear. But, yeah, I think just for how, energized the show was and how great the room felt, like Cobra Lounge was awesome. It was incomparable so far.
That's an
Right.
awesome spot. I gotta ask now so your Facebook page, you have a photo of the whole band in front of Wrigley Field. I'm assuming that was taken the night at Cubby Bear?
Yes.
Or y'all are just super big Cubs fans?
I mean, honestly, it's like, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to say. If
You're
like,
safe on this?
I'm just saying, like, whether you are or aren't a Cubs fan, like,
You are being recorded, though.
the problem with me is that, like, my sin is I just don't care about baseball that
Right.
much. But, like, it's not even in an elitist way because the teams I do care about all suck. Just in different sports. But yeah, I mean, Cubby Bear was super fun, and I mean, even that photo is, big thanks. Robert's dad is an incredible photographer and is super supportive. Comes out a lot for us, but also, Robert's older brother is in a band as well, and he's just killer. Gets some incredible shots for us. We're super blessed.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Robert, you got any special messages for your father out there?
I don't know if he's watching right now. He's probably working on his car still, but hey, what's up?
Look at the vibe. We got Marley Tomlinson in the chat. Let's go.
What's up,
Marley
Marlon?
Tomlinson. Hey there, Marley. Good to see you. Thanks for leaving us a message. There's also Stephen Bowen saying...
Oh, that's
Oh,
my
God.
dad.
He's not even watching. No way.
That is my dad, yeah.
Hey, Dad, what's happening? Good to see you. Hey, Robert's dad. Thanks for tuning in. I want to say, so all the dads out there who support their kids like that, that's awesome. My dad, I'm very lucky. He would come to a lot of my comedy shows and do the same, take photos and have fun and just be a part of the mix. It's really supportive. To all the pops out there who do that, we appreciate it. We love it. And get out there and do it some more if you don't. It's really great. Everyone really loves it and appreciates it.
Wait, you guys have dads?
Someone had to make the joke.
Well, that's cool. Do you guys have any other people in the audience that you want to give a shout out to? Any special shout outs?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to our band members that are not here, but they still deserve justice. Alan, if you're watching this, Bobby, if you're watching this, we wish you were here.
I love how you said justice like they're in jail.
Free the boys.
Yeah, free the boys. We wish you guys were here. Like, all the love to them. But yeah, we're representing everyone today. But like, Bobby and Al, if you're out there,
Yeah,
love you guys.
absolutely. And I mean, like, what do you think they'd be in jail for? Al's like fed up, like drives off the construction site, like in a piece of heavy machinery. Just
Bobby's definitely framed. I can't imagine doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy.
He got the
Bobby,
short
when you watch this, you're a sweet baby boy. We love you. You would never do anything
What
wrong.
would each of you want to go to jail for? if y'all were to get locked up?
Oh my gosh.
Robert is finally gonna get like kicked out by a venue that's only supposed to have 21 up performers. I'm probably like doing arson I shouldn't be doing. I don't do arson. I've never done anything along the lines of arson. But the way things have been in the world these days, you know.
You just want to light shit on fire for some
Right,
reason.
you know,
Like, fuck this shit.
in the words of a great band, Microwave, better living through chemistry. You know what I mean? What are you going to jail for?
I'm like, knowing me, I'm a people pleaser, so I'm probably like holding something for a friend, and then with my luck, like the police pull up behind me, and I'm like clueless, like.
Wait,
and they're
you
like,
said these were elf bars.
let me check your pockets.
Oh, that's so real.
Locked up.
I love that.
Jay, if you were to go to jail for something, what do you think you'd go to jail for?
Crossing the border with a lot of cocaine.
You do live that party rock and roll lifestyle. I'd probably get framed for something. I've never stolen anything. I'm squeaky clean. At least I try to be. I don't know. Hopefully I don't get jail. I'm too cute for jail.
You don't want none of that.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Get Big Bob next to you.
Yeah. You get a doggy style. Not with the mask.
Oh god.
Not with the mask.
You ever seen Harold and Kumar? You ready for this cock meat sandwich, boy?
It's already been such a long episode.
I thought it was PG-13.
Yeah. So, Sunshine and Rainbows.
How'd you guys get started in music anyways? Like, take me back to when you guys were like kids and shit growing up. Like, how'd you guys get started in music?
I love that.
What was your first thing?
Sure. So I started on piano really young. Didn't work out. Went to trumpet in grade school. Didn't work out. I always wanted to play drums. My parents said it was too loud. My dad plays trumpet too, so I kind of got reeled into that. I didn't end up sticking with it, and I was like, if I want to do music, I want to play drums. So in high school, I started. I did drumline, but I also taught myself drum set, and just. Yeah, I kind of self-taught myself. I've only had teachers here and there for like jazz and stuff. I've dabbled in a ton of genres, but I learned on like the songs that we kind of play, the genres that we play. And I feel like that kind of shaped my playing in a way that just always led me to like this sort of music. And now I'm here. I think I've been playing for like 6 years now. So.
Stellar.
Oh, yeah,
Amazing.
No, I mean,
Oh yeah, so okay. So I did start guitar, I think 7th grade, and I was just like doing either ultimate guitar or just like YouTube, whatever, or learning by ear. Did that for like maybe 2 years, and then in high school I joined band, and I played French horn up until end of college. I don't play it anymore, but maybe I'll get back into it later on. It just like it doesn't look as cool as guitar.
Like ska bands and trombone players and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, maybe I'll bring it back. Second album or first album.
Little
maybe
French horn solo.
something like that. Yeah.
I'll go kind of hard. A little ambient section with some French horn on it.
Why not?
Think
Why
that's what I'm
not?
saying.
Yeah. And then in high school, I did guitar for what's it called? Show choir, like that kind of stuff. Not really doing any like band stuff until late college, only because COVID kind of like messed things up and like disheveled everything. And then like back to the Robert story about how we met, that was like post-COVID, like right after, like everyone trying to get back into doing everything. So we were like, okay, like let's start playing and stuff like that, and then that's how the ball got rolling, at least for me.
Right. And now you're in like now you play guitar for like 6 different bands.
Yeah, filling in here
How'd
and
you
there.
get into guitar?
My dad he saw me playing with this toy guitar, and I was learning Decode by Paramore by ear, and he was like tired of watching me like struggle to tune this instrument, so he's like, I'm gonna just buy you a real acoustic guitar. I don't know how much it was or anything, but I tore that thing to shreds. And like I had it for like maybe like 3 years until I finally got my Epiphone SG. Nice. And then history after that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I also took like started out just like on a wind instrument like in middle school or whatever. But I got into bass in like 7th grade in like jazz band, and I played bass in a rock band as my like first. It was like poppy rock, like John Mayer stuff. But that was like my first like time being in a band and my first time like interacting with original music, and that was like when I was a senior in high school. Had pretty suspect intermission band in college, but like everyone starts somewhere, and like we were all just like figuring it out, and it was still cool like getting on stage and playing songs that like I didn't like really know as well as I should have that like sucked anyways, because it still like gets you a lot of like inspiration and connections and cool stuff like that. So I finished out college, no music making because of COVID, of course. But then once I got back to Chicago, I spent like a year, just like enjoying myself, finally being in a big city. It's like I had friends up here. I like went to Riot Fest. I was like spending money like left and right. And then, I had like a wild, like crazy situationship throughout that whole time. That was like really like crazy. And when that finally torpedoed for good at the end of like year one of being in Chicago, I was like, well, I got nothing else. It's time to stop procrastinating on like getting into the music scene up here. And yeah, I like went online. I went on Reddit. And I think for the first time in my life, like because it, like at the end of that experience, I was finally like, I've been hurt enough. The lyrics have started to arrive. Like I tried to write music before that time in my life, but it was all like garbage. And this is like the first time that I was like, wow, like I have like inspiration flowing, and like I have shit I gotta say. And so for the first time, I was like, I'm a mediocre bassist, but like I'll keep myself open, like if there are people who need vocalists, and these guys are all incredibly talented. Like I walked into that first audition, and like this is the first time that I've really like seriously like sung as like the singer for something, even though I've done like I have a singing voice. I've done like choir, like a high school musical, like here or there, not the high school musical, a musical in high school. But it was my first time singing, and these guys had a lot of faith in me, and like my tone, and like especially the kind of music we're doing that is like very demanding. They put a lot of trust in me, but I'm really excited how it ended up, because this is like the first band that has like really like gotten off the blocks and rolled for me.
Hell yeah, dude.
And rolling, y'all definitely are. I know you got a couple upcoming shows as well. Yardapalooza, July 14th. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a really good friend, Ryan, who may still be in the chat right now, who actually began the Yardapalooza as a concept just in his own backyard, playing his own music. He was just like, he's a one-man band, kind of like just has a lot of musical talent, and just like does the outlet all on his own. And his family was finally like, finish the songs for God's sake and play them for us. So Yardapalooza 1 was like him in his backyard, and he made friends with bands and just had friends in the music scene because he's always been that kind of guy. Yardapalooza 2 was like him and several of his friends' bands, and now Yardapalooza 3, quote unquote, is the first time it's broken out of the cage.
Nice.
Because ever since he hosted his friends' bands, he was like, oh my god, like I could throw little shows in my house. And it's escalated into this thing where now we've got this DIY show going on, and yeah, it's going to be right up like 90. We have like a huge clearing in like an enormous park, like a forest park, and there's going to be like 2 stages, like rotating, like 20 bands almost. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, and so our slot is middle of the day, middle of the afternoon. It'll be great. Everyone will have had their morning coffee already. It'll be cool to play in the sunshine. I think we're on like 2:15, 2:30.
Yeah, something
but
like
get
that.
there as early as you can, because seriously, it's like a lot of really talented, like both friends of ours and even just like bands that we haven't gotten the chance to play with yet that are really, really fun. I mean, like Lever is going to be there.
Running Man.
Running Man is going to be so extremely high.
Is it free?
I think it's like a suggested donation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything there is going to be suggested.
Basically, you get to drink all day, hang out with bands, see bands, meet the bands.
It'll be beautiful outside.
Right.
It's going to be perfect.
It's our first outdoor show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically
Is
we've
it?
played an outdoor show, but our very first one was kind of in a garage, kind of outdoors.
Oh, right.
But this is our first festival experience for sure.
Nice.
Seeing a message here from AKA Ryan. Is that who?
That's
Yep.
already.
St. Paul Woods.
Ryan saying, yeah, St. Paul Woods, 18 bands, 400 person capacity. Antillion, let's go.
Yep.
Also, headliner is the side project of the Dead Kennedys.
That's
True,
right. The
yeah.
front man, the Dead Kennedys, right now. Running Man is his other band.
DIY
So definitely come out.
Oh
You
yeah.
gotta show him.
$15 suggested donation helps the bands. Yes, free, but if you can't, you know what? Do the suggested donation.
ain't shit, man.
Nothing.
Right.
Do the suggested donation. I will say, for Street Fest, I found out recently you don't actually have to pay because it's like just a big corporation. You can't just block someone on the street, you know? But for private or for smaller stuff like this, pay them. Do the suggested donation. It goes right into the pockets of the
The
artists.
bands work
So-
really hard, and some of them probably travel along just to, make music for you guys. So
Right.
always, I don't know. And it's a suggested donation. If you don't have $15, give them $5, give them $10,
Whatever's in
whatever
your
you
pocket.
can.
Yeah, honestly.
Give them a snack. Great snack. Beer.
I'll accept a snack from stage. That'd be
If you have
great.
a few $100, throw that in. If you got it.
Something that actually came up pretty recently as well that is coming up close is July 5th, this coming Friday. We're going to be at Pork Chop, their speakeasy venue in the back called Meat and Whiskey, MEET and Whiskey. They've been doing shows every Friday this summer, and it's been a really cool time. There's some really fun bands we're going to play with there. Chum. It's like Chum the Waters, but with a B at the end. Great band, like super great, like emo vibes. I mean, I put them in like Robert and I were listening to music together the other day, and I put them in the playlist. He didn't even realize, like he thought that it was like a band in the genre, and was like, oh my god, this is the homies. So that's super exciting. I mean, just a lot of great opportunities.
And where is that at?
It's up in Edgewater. So
Whereabouts? What streets?
I think it might. I think it's along Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Pork Chop is really cool for allowing these shows to invade. There's like sick couches in the speakeasy as well. It's like it's a total hang sesh room.
Their food looks amazing too.
Right.
I know this place.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Pull up.
I didn't know they did music there.
Yeah. So this Friday, if you're trying to celebrate or grieve your country, whatever your vibe is, come drink some drinks with us at Pork Chop at Meat and Whiskey. It'll be great.
Drinks are always appropriate,
Yes.
whether you're happy or sad.
Exactly that.
For those of you who are looking to go, Pork Chop is on Broadway. It's located at 6341 North Broadway, Chicago. Shout out Pork Chop Edgewater.
Yeah.
And I see y'all have another show coming up at Brothers on the 28th. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Brothers has been a really hospitable venue to us. They just started throwing shows regularly in this past year, and the booker there, Alexa, is fantastic. She's put on some really cool shows. She's actually trying to put together a festival right now for all of you who are sad that Riot Fest moved out of Chicago and you want a September punk rock fest. If you're in a band, hit up Brothers Sports Bar. Let them know because Alexa's putting something together. But yeah, end of July. It's going to be our third time playing there, but it's always a blast. We have, as you were mentioning, Jay, touring bands. We have a band from Cleveland, Ohio, coming all the way across the country, making a stop in Chicago called My Heart Your Glove. It's great music. It's like, it's kind of, it like made me misty-eyed. I was like, bro, these guys have like 70 monthlies on Spotify, and like they're bringing me to tears. Like the world's a crazy place. So that'll be really fun. And then also on that bill is going to be Sea of Cars. We just played with them out of state recently. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Charlie, their front person, is so sick. They have like a Triforce pedal board.
Yeah.
it's a wooden Triforce pedal board. It's so hype.
That's awesome.
And then My Life at the Bottom of the Ocean, who was just with us at Cobra Lounge, is going to be on that show as well. If you haven't listened to them yet, they're super great. It's like very chorus laden, but like melodic punk rock. And they're just crazy. Like the tapping and riffing that they do like while singing.
And what are they called again?
My Life at the Bottom of the Ocean. But if you go look them up online, you don't have to know all that. It's My Life Rips on
My Life
Instagram.
Rips. Go look them up.
Yeah, shout out My Life. Those homies are great. We love them.
Hell yeah.
I also see you guys have an upcoming EP before all these live shows kick off. July 12th. It's called Aftertaste. Can you give us a little taste of Aftertaste?
So
A pre-taste of Aftertaste.
ironically, Aftertaste is a pre-taste of our sort of sound. It's like we wanted to get music out there because they always say, like, if you're starting a band, you don't need to wait till you have all the materials and resources to spend $5,000 recording an album. Like, we just wanted to get some music out there, especially because we're already playing these songs. It's like people want them. And so we wrote like a short 5-song EP. One of them is an interlude, so it's a 4-song EP. Most of the songs are already out.
But it's a dope 28 minutes.
Yes.
Songs are long-winded.
But it's us trying to find our sounds, putting our influences together. Like Bobby, our guitarist, I'd say he's the main songwriter, and he's really into My Chemical Romance, and like Green Day, and he grew up on all that emo stuff. And I'm into like the more progressive like Swancore stuff, and so I'm basically playing like Swancore drums on top of MCR style guitars. And then I introduced him to Dance Gavin Dance, and he's like, wow, this is sick, now I'm gonna start playing like this. And so it's just you can hear the development in all the songs, and I think it's really cool because from here on it's like we're not ashamed to say that this EP was done like very DIY. Shout out to Jacob Nowakowski and Grant Sibley. Mm-hmm. They engineered and recorded and produced all of it, just those two guys. And it took a long time to get it together, but we're really proud of like what we put together, and it's cool to have music that's like engraved in the internet and online, just like for people to hear forever, even if we're not relevant in like 5 years.
Right. And I mean, the EP is super fun too because you really hear all the influences because it's the EP is like 5 songs that are all different genres from each other.
Yeah. But
like we get our kicks as like a genre bending like band, like to people who these words mean things. If you're a normal person and you don't have like music brain rot, this is all gibberish. But like theoretically, we're like a progressive post-hardcore emo band, and all that really means is that we love incorporating a lot of different styles in a single song. But at this time, because we were still kind of like finding our sound, you can see a lot more of the song is like driven by like a single energy, where it'll be like a rock song that has like a really wobbly like interesting like bridge, or like Okija is like a very like straight ahead like pop punk kind of sounding song that has a very like Midwest emo like math rocky breakdown, and then all the things that are going to come after will eventually the songs we've written since we've all come together and like been a full band are very much more ambitious within like a single runtime. But this EP is really fun because you kind of get a little taste of everything that we're into with each song. But it starts with the one, Maybe It's Cruel, which is out, that is like that covers the most breadth, so that like your introduction you get everything, and if you can handle that, then you'll like everything that comes after. But I mean, most of the songs of this EP, speaking of Maybe It's Cruel, were like mostly written before I even joined the band. Writing the vocals for Maybe It's Cruel was my audition for the band, and like 90% of it remains. But I can't even really speak to like the writing process before that, because Noemi, if you want to talk more about just like ending on a bad note, like you said, came up out of one of those jams, and like Okija, previously FUCK, previously Untitled 3.
I don't know.
Yeah, we were just like, we would do the covers, or at our rehearsals before Mike and Al era, it would be us doing the covers, and then at the end we'd be like, do you guys just want to jam? And then Robert would record on the Zoom recording, and then we'd eventually like go back to those recordings, kind of like chop up what sounded good and put it into this online DAW called BandLab, and then we just like kind of take that to the shed, see what we could do with it, bring it back to rehearsal, play it, see if we like it or not. And it was just kind of that circulation until Mike and Al came along. But yeah, we kind of didn't have like any limitations, or like we didn't really like want to sound like anyone else, but also that wasn't like really talked about. We were just kind of like let loose about everything. And then when Mike joined, he brought this like I would call it like traditional hard rock.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly fair.
Yeah, and we like kind of what we would call Antillionify it like later on. So like it would be like our inspiration, but it eventually came into like this melting pot of like rock, pop, and I've heard like people compare us to like pop artists, which is like not weird, but like we think of us as like a post-hardcore band, and we're getting like comparisons to like different genres, which is really cool because like at the end of the day we don't want to put ourselves in a box or anything.
Yeah, it feels like a compliment, just like, you know, if someone hears like clean vocals that they can like understand and that sound like something relatable, and like there's a beat they can dance to, they're like, oh wow, this is like Panic at the Disco, and we're like, that's crazy, but like awesome. That's good to hear. You know, it's like, I'm glad that like the takeaway wasn't like these are a bunch of like aggressive weirdos, you know. But then, you know, if it's music they can identify with and enjoy, it's like I would not mind at all, you know, being this odd band out in any lineup where it's like, you know, we're the heaviest band at like the indie show and like the lightest band at like the hardcore show. But, you know, I feel like the impression we leave people with either way is that like it's a good time. And that's huge. Even like I describe ourselves like a super crunchy, like fuzzy band all the time, and like we were working with a producer on an upcoming song, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys have a very like low gain sound," and I'm like, I don't even know anything, man. Like that, I was just like, that's awesome and crazy because like I just don't know anything about music. We're just having a good time, you know. This sounds like rip into us, and so yeah, the EP is really fun for that, and especially like Noemi said, like I'm very much more like, I'm just uncultured. I think I had the least kind of like emo and post-hardcore and pop punk background, but I love a lot of like, you know, modern rock and like for referential bands that are actually like, large enough to mean anything. You know, it's like Arctic Monkeys and like Royal Blood is like a great instance of the kind of sound I am. But like the very dynamic, extremely like talented vocalists, it's like, it's music that I got onto way too late because like my best homies in high school were like, bro, you gotta listen to Hail the Sun, you gotta listen to Silverstein, like this kicks ass. And I was like, I don't like screaming. And now I'm like sending them the songs. I'm like, guys, I think my tone got better. Like, do you like this one? You know? So like it's all come full circle. But it's like just a fun march through our various inspos on this one. And you know, the band was super gracious as well because I came in and like the song on the EP that's not, you know, the full length song on the EP that's not released yet as a single is one that's like very just like rock and roll that I you know wrote the original main riff for, and that was Antillionfied, as Noemi said, because truly we like just like put it through the juicer and something special happens. But you know, they trusted me a lot with that song, and I feel like it's really cool because these bands, you know, post-hardcore bands are all about these like really intense riffs and stuff, but it can get so layered and complex you can't even always hear it. So I'm over here like loving the fact that like, you know, Noemi will get like a guitar solo that's just like a goddamn guitar solo, you know what I mean? And it's just like that's what's happening, and like you just get to rip, and I'm like, you know, and it's a super fun, you know, part of the live show too, just to like play a song that's just like some straight up rock beats, you know what I mean?
You guys got a favorite song to play live?
Oh, that's difficult. I think the unreleased one, Crutches, is my favorite.
That's super fair. Noemi, do you have one?
It's hard for me. Honestly, it's hard for me. But I might have to give love to Cruel. Maybe it's Cruel. It's it's a song that we open with this current set that we're doing right now. And at the end of it, it just feels like we left everything on stage, and it feels like we could just walk off.
That's
and like
so
that is the
cool.
whole show. But of course we continue. But like that song's my baby right now.
I love that.
They're all my babies.
I love the way you put that, because it's true. Like we do kind of like a cinematic intro
everything.
to it.
It's like everything.
Like the song. It's like probably, I'm sure it's the longest song on the EP. I haven't looked,
probably.
but like we even add like a minute and a half to it live, just like doing like this atmospheric intro. But really, we just like you're now entering the Antillion zone. It's like like whether you like it or not, like this is what it's gonna be for the next 30 minutes or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And I love that pick because it just goes very far. across our range. I think my favorite song live is Okija, which is the most recent single we put out. It's just a song I'm very proud of lyrically, and so it's like extraordinarily cathartic. Like every time I get to perform it, I'm just like 100% like just like spitting daggers at the back wall. You know what I mean? But also I feel like it's a song that really just, you know, it has a lot of that like, you know, modern rock essence of like there's just like an isolated riff full of fuzz, and that riff makes you so happy. You know, whether it's like, you know, if you're like a Guitar Fright from Fooly Cooley, or like Ben Quad, or like Hot Mulligan guy, or like harder like metallic music, you know, Okija just like starts with this like peeling, crazy, awesome pull-off guitar riff from Bobby, and like every time I'm just like, this is cocaine. This is great. This is right to the veins.
How would you guys describe like your like the feeling you guys get when you guys play like that kind of a song? It's like, oh, this is really cool. I fucking love this shit. How would you guys like? What do you guys feel when you guys are on stage?
Like I need to play this as accurately as I can while like complementing my involuntarily body movements that are happening.
Okay.
So it's like my brain shuts off, but like my body's moving, but I'm also trying to play everything as accurately as I can. If it doesn't come out right, that's fine, but at least I'm putting on a show somewhat. But overall, it's just like dopamine.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like naturally as musicians, we're always so critical of ourselves, and so live, like, you know, after show, we're like, man, I messed that song up real bad. But like, you know, as you play more, which we've played a decent bit by now,
Yeah.
as you play more, it's like, you know, being critical and like looking back on our shows in a retrospective way. We're like, okay, how can we improve our performance? How can we improve the way we play and the quality of our songs? And like we've done that, we've put in the work, and so at this point, at least for me, I'm honestly just in the zone. Like I'm not thinking about my parts really, and I'm just trying to put on a show. Like I physically have to restrain myself from going too hard, because by the middle of the set I'll be so tired I will just screw up songs completely, and like I won't have any energy for the end of the set. So mostly I'm just trying to control myself from not going too hard. And I feel like Mike is in the same vein, especially with vocals, because it's like it directly impacts your singing abilities.
Yeah, that is super fair. And I mean, like, big props to Robert. I mean, like, I've had multiple people come up and be like, Robert is like the reason why we pull up to these shows. Just because, like, seriously, like, you know, you will even just like surprise us, I feel like, with things live.
Yeah.
But a surprise in the way it's like, oh my god, that was sick. Like, I can't believe you just ripped that, like, right now. And then we haven't practiced that. Like, you know, on Praise the Swan, where you hit like it's the same, the really baller thing was the same crash cymbal, just like 4 quarter notes in a row.
The hardcore thing where you're just bashing on the cymbal. It doesn't sound good, but it's the performance aspect that's
It was so beautiful. I mean, so many things like that, and that's just how a lot of the writing ends up happening. It's like we'll just be playing the song, and like these crazy people around me are all so talented that they'll just like try something that like came to mind, or that they were like working on in the bedroom while they were practicing, and it just like, it's the first time I hear it, I'm like, keep that, who was that, keep that in, you know. But yeah, the live feeling, like Robert was saying, is really similar for me. It's like I really don't think about singing the way that I do, you know, rehearsing something difficult for the first time or whatever, which even leads to problems, because it's like songs that I know like the back of my hand. It's like if I see something interesting happen in the crowd and I devote like 10% of my brain power to like, what's going on over there, I'll like forget the next lyric because like all of that like song information is just on autopilot, and like 100% of what's going on in my head is, it's like, how do I, like, you know, how much energy is the maximum amount I can be giving right now without like sabotaging how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
You know? And so a lot of it becomes just like flow state of like trying to like dance and like headbang and like move around, but also like not trip and fall, and like not like throw something out, and not like forget to breathe on time for something. But I mean, I think for all of us, you know, we've expressed like, you know, shows used to be a little more anxiety inducing, and I think there still is always, you know, anxiety and excitement just because things are new or things are like
Right.
not ideal and you're like playing with like someone else's gear because you have to borrow it, or it's the biggest stage you've been on, or like the sound is like really jank, or like you like don't get a line check. You know, there's always going to be something that will make it a little anxiety inducing, but I feel like more and more, like after our shows we'll get off set and we'll be like, wow, like that feels amazing, or like we'll be like in the group chat going home and be like, this is fantastic, like this is my therapy. You know, and that's what it's all about. So it's like, even though it's like a lot of work and it's like, you know, oh, it's so hard being a musician. I mean, like, it's funny because you actually do get to do that because you don't make jack nil being a musician, so you get to complain as much as you want. It's not like the CEO who's like, oh, it's so hard. It's like, yeah, well, you got all the stuff. But yeah, I mean, just like really trying to leave it all on the floor, and especially it's like it's hard to do in this scene because there are so many bands that are so good. Like, we've played so many shows with bands that, like, make me feel like I have so far to go. Like, I have so far to go even just figuring out, like, you know, using my body to create the best show, you know? I mean, like, we were just at My Place, Ohio, a DIY venue in Chicago, despite the name. And we saw the Tear Garden Collective as part of that bill. Insane. Their front person, Alan, is just a creature on the floor, just like moving around and like jumping and like doing crazy high like jumping split kicks and then like doing a somersault forward, like all with a guitar on, being the only guitarist in the band. It's insane. And just like seeing stuff like that is very inspirational because it's like, well, it's like, you know, I could always go harder and it won't kill me. I know that because I've watched someone do it at least, you know. But yeah, that stuff is very fun. And some of it is stage dependent. Like, we had a show in Kalamazoo that was really awesome. You know,
Amazing.
it was just a really cool experience. That because the only mic we had to work with was like taped to the mic stand. I couldn't do my normal like moving around thing, and like I was like on one side of the band, so we had like an interesting configuration. But even then, it's like, you know, everyone, like all the guitars like really picked up like a ton of energy, like doing like rocking and swaying that day. And like Robert is always putting on a show back there, and like you started doing stick flips that you may or may not catch. And like, you know, people after that show be like, wow, you guys like moved so much, had so much energy, even though we were like so confined and packed. So it's like, it feels like we're learning and getting better, you know, which is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Is there anything y'all do before any show that kind of gets your head in the game? Is there any sort of pre-game ritual that you like to do? You want to go down the line and tell us anything you like to do beforehand?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have anything off the top of your head?
The only thing I do consistently every show is like 5 minutes in, like before we start setting up, is just the anxiety pee. I feel like we all do it. You go straight. It's like, even if you haven't drank anything, which I usually do, so it's kind of natural.
It's like, I can't pee during the set.
Right. It's like, no, it just comes flowing in. It's like, wow, I really need to pee right now, and I didn't need to 5 seconds ago. So I go, and then it's like, all right, I'm back, I'm ready. I need to pee again because it's the anxiety. It's like, you know, it's built up. Other than that, we're pretty lax on the pre-show rituals. We're not
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. We gotta make some rituals.
Me and or Al and I, at least, we plan out our beers before the set. So that's been our it's beers and food before we go on. And it's been kind of challenging if we're like headlining or if we're opening. So it's
true.
Like we'll be like having conversations like, so how many do you think, if we're trying to be tipsy by the time we start, like doing the math, like
that's so
the
great.
band math. But yeah, eventually we'll have something. I mean, it's already serious, but I'm saying like when things get more serious, we'll have something.
I know. I mean, I feel like the problem is like I love when Antillion gets to perform first on a bill. Like one because like it's kind of fun to just like show up to a room that has like theoretically no expectations of you, and like any impression or that you make on them is a good one, you know, because like they're like most of that crowd, if they're not there for you, like they're waiting to get through you, and so. But you know, they still have a vested interest in having a good time that night. They haven't like jumped all their energy out for their people. But the other great reason is exactly that. It's like, you know, I get 2 drink tickets, but it's like, damn, if I'm off at like 9:30 and like I'm driving them home, or not 9:30, like 11:30, and like I'm driving them home, but I can't drink beforehand because it makes it harder to sing. That's so real. But when we get more opening slots for the big bands, that's when we're like, oh my god, we just opened for Ben Quad. Let's get sloshed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, you know, I do my little vocal like warm-ups, probably not as much as I should be doing, but enough. We're good by sound check. I definitely do like neck stretches a lot. I've been trying to get the band, and like Al has been doing with me. Yeah, just like, all right, do our headbanging safely. Honestly, this is kind of funny, but it's almost like you know, it's like I'm summoning, you know, like the Harry Potter like Patronus is like think good thoughts. It's like I'm like summoning like negative thoughts, because like I'm like about to do the thing I love the most, which is like playing on stage with my homies. But I also have to like, as much as I'm like smiling and dancing and having a great time, I'm also trying to remember that like I'm delivering very emotive songs that are all like mine, you know, and like it's emotions that like are put in there for catharsis, and so I know they'll always like perform best if I can like tap into some of those like original feelings when I was writing them. But it'll be like, sheesh, I love that. Whoever says catharsis. But yeah, so like sometimes I'll like just be like sitting there, like the last thing I do before I go on stage is I'm just sitting there like summoning like bad thoughts. I'm just like imagining like my enemies are gonna be in the crowd, you know, like, and it's. But also I think it helps, because at a certain point as well, I know like the reason why I love writing that kind of music is because, you know, someone expresses something that you felt, and that maybe like you were too vulnerable to tell like someone in your life, and you're like, wow, like it's okay to feel that way. Like someone else that is a real human being or that I look up to or whatever has felt that way. So I feel like it's also important, you know, it's like even when I like dance my ass off, like if I'm gonna sing like a sad line, like I'm also trying to like conjure that for you and be like, we're in this, man. Like I'm in here with you right now. But it's fun, because I feel like this band has been really fearless, like with our live show, just allowing ourselves to do creative artistic things. Like that interlude in the EP is something that we do like live, and we bring things down real low right before the last song, and like it's basically just me and like Noemi, and I'm just like solo like singing this like brief like poem more or less.
He's on the verge of tears.
Like on the verge of tears, being like so dramatic, like all my eyeliner's rubbed off. But then we pick it up and ending on a bad note, and people like lose their minds and go ape shit anyways. So it's like people give us a lot of trust, and we trust them a lot, and it's you know, it's because the crowds are just so wonderfully kind that we even get to do stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. You guys were mentioning opening for bands earlier. What's the one dream band you guys would want to open up for?
Oh, I feel like we all have different answers. Maybe.
I feel, let's all do different answers, but I feel like let me get one out of the way, just because it's a comparison for ourselves that we use a lot, and that like, you know, we feel like is a good touchstone. But Hail the Sun is an absolutely cornerstone, wonderful post-hardcore band, and just like their style of like, you know, really having interesting songs that shift a lot and go all over the place and make daring, weird moves, I think inspires a lot of what we do. But Robert, what would be a dream band for like you?
With Sales Ahead, not a long shot, but they're on the come up in the scene, and they're in the scene. Like in my opinion, they're at the forefront of like bands trying to make it, and they're doing it. They're sick. They're in like that small like the genre of swancore, and they're you know, trying to make Dance Gavin Dance type music, and it's working. Right. They just dropped an album.
Yeah, they were here in Chicago last year, I believe.
Yeah, we were there.
Did you get to see that?
I was there.
I'm so mad.
Really? My guitar player for the band I'm in, he's in this band called Looking Girl Syndrome, and they opened up for them. Them and Adventurer, we played with them a couple of times. They're fucking dope.
That was such an insane lineup. I'm so mad I didn't see that show. Yeah, shout out to Sales Ahead, New Jersey. You got them. That's great. I think for myself, like, that, you know, this could be answered, oh, what's my favorite band? But like realistically, bands that like we would play with, like in the genre, I would love to play with like a Heart Attack Man. Like that feels just the right size. Like Heart Attack Man is like headlining DIY fests
Yeah.
and opening huge national fests,
Yeah.
right? So like they're like right at that perfect conflux, and they make an interesting style of music. It's so very pop punk, and it's like the melodies are almost like bubblegum poppy, but like the aggression in just like the lyrics and the delivery is such a weird, cool contrast. It's just like very, it's very endearing. Like once you get into it, it's just very endearing is the only way I can say it. They're just a super fun band. And like the fact that they still play DIY fests and venues and stuff at their size when they don't have to is huge and super inspiring. I love that about them.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure we'll eventually get to play with all the adventurers and Lilac Kings out there at some point, or within the next year. We're like manifesting. But I'm wearing a Covet shirt, so I feel like I have to shout out Covet.
Yes.
Only because, the last 3 times that I've seen them, they haven't had, like, openers, like, within their genre. They're usually, like, pretty spread out along the rock scene or whatever. So I feel like Antillion could, like, squeeze their way into a lineup or something. And a lot of times the audience leaves that show with that impression that, like, none of the openers really match the genre with Covet. So even me too, like I'll leave and I'm like, oh, like the Velveteen or whatever band I discovered from that night that doesn't really resonate with Covet, but like they're still awesome. So I feel like we could be one of those bands where it's like, oh, what was that one like poppy post-hardcore band that had that that McDonald's ripoff riff?
Hey, I didn't even think about it like that.
So yeah, that would be me.
God, that would be so hard.
You guys remember a band called Chan?
Oh my God.
I was at the last Con show, dude. I was at the last one they did.
How can they still band
anymore? Like,
No, they're broken up.
I'll never admit that Sean's
we mourn about that like every
Dude, all
week.
the time.
No, I mean seriously, like I think like Robert especially, like it's something that we're all down for, but Robert has pushed us to like, we want to definitely make some songs that are just on like the lower end of the energy scale, because I feel like our Antillion songs go between like an 8 and a 13, out of 10. And I feel like if we have a lot of chops in this band that would like allow us to do, kind of like that jazzy, like rocky, proggy stuff, and also just like give my little voice a rest, because I love the yelling and screaming, but also it's like an hour-long Antillion set one day is going to take like canned oxygen for me or like some chiller songs, and I think we have them in us. So if you're missing Chan, come back to Antillion in like 2026. We'll be good.
Future Chan. What do you guys practice routines like for each individual instrument, or I guess your voice in that case too?
That's funny.
So currently I am taking a break from drums because I hurt my ankle transporting drums down the stairs.
Damn.
So, but usually right now I'm working a lot on my double bass. I honestly didn't really start really focusing on it until I joined Antillion, because I've always been inspired by like Matt Mingus of Dance Gavin Dance, and he incorporates double bass unlike any other person I've literally ever heard, and his style is just so different. It's like, they hear about, they talk about like John Bonham, how he makes a drum part out of the guitar part. Mm-hmm. That's like Matt Mingus on steroids, because he just takes a guitar part and writes something completely, listening to it alone, it sounds terrible. But if you put it next to like Will Swan's guitar, it's like, okay, this is the perfect guitar, drum part for this guitar part. And that's something I've really like cherished in my playing, and a lot of that comes down to double bass, like doing that sort of call and response between the kick and the snare. So that's kind of what I work on constantly, and I tap into like my jazzy side of improv and stuff, and I like chopping out like Joseph Arrington of A Lot Like Birds and Royal Coda and all the other bands he's a part of. But yeah, what about you guys?
I was gonna say I feel like a lot of my practicing, I live in my apartment with neighbors, so a lot of my practice is honestly like in the car on like long car rides and stuff, but there's also just like I feel like there's a lot of practicing for me that's just like kind of just researching, because I'm just so new to like being a vocalist. I mean, like sometimes I'll just like sit down and be like, I just need more energy. I just need to find bands with like vocalists doing crazy things and weird techniques, or even just like listening to songs that are familiar to me, but like listening to them performed live to see, it's like, is there something that's done here that's more interesting? So like a little bit of it is like trying to think and cook up ways that I can just like use my voice in new ways to like, thankfully I have a friend who's like a very well trained like vocal practitioner. Like he's trained to be a teacher, but he's not a vocal teacher. It's just his degree. But he's helped me a lot with just being like, there's a lot of practicing I do that's not like singing our songs and running our set list, but it's always like trying to use my voice to do something new and put it in a place it hasn't been before, so that I can like figure out where the limits are, because it's like such a weird amorphous instrument to train, because you just like, you don't know what's possible because it's just a muscle. It's so like flexy, but something that I definitely do consider like practice outside of just like being in the car where it's like, okay, I have 30 minutes to like sing a bunch of our songs full volume, but it's like literally just doing cardio, like just becoming a slightly like begrudgingly gradually more fit person, like literally just because I'm like, damn, like my heart is gonna give out if I keep it will just like I can feel like what's putting a limit on how much energy I can put out and still sing is like not my vocal like cords yet. It's like the rest of my body being able to like thrash and dance and like headbang and be crazy and like still have the breath support at the end of it.
That makes a lot of sense. Cardio, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could say like scales and modes and everything, but honestly just listening, like our most recent rehearsal, we were improvising an extended version of unreleased song that we have, and I didn't know that it was happening. I don't know if they knew that it was happening.
No, we just got through it together.
I was just kind of like going with the motions, but it came out sounding like very like in the nicest terms like wannabe Cianvar, wannabe Royal Coda, and like listening back to that, I was like, okay, like let me kind of tweak my part a little bit, and then I went to the gym the next day listening again to like other parts that I could incorporate or anything. So I think like even like outside of like the shed, we practice, or quote unquote practice, just by like listening, or like listening back to our old rehearsals, listening to newer influences, or someone like might recommend a song in the chat that we like never heard of before, and we're like, oh, like maybe we can do something like this in this upcoming song. So it like elevates the original writing session, and then of course we go back to like practice it and then bring it back. But other than that, like I'll start practicing like some flaky John Mayer stuff, and then I'll like practice our songs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of the Antillion process is made great by the fact that Robert is like really diligent from the start about like recording all of our rehearsals and like chopping things up and uploading those, so we can always listen back to what we just did, and like we get to have a lot of our like sets filmed front to back, just like stationary from a tripod, because of Robert's dad being so kind and generous. And so we've had times where we'll be hanging out like after a show, and we'll like say, all right, let's throw that on and just like watch, like point out things we liked, like what can we, and so it sounds kind of silly, but it's like we study a lot of film, it's like a great way to get better, is just being like, seeing what happens live, just like not really the critiquing, but more like what was cool and how can we intend that again next time, which
that's similar to how like boxers rewatch their stuff,
right?
Like,
Yeah.
You guys are on stage putting a fight for your life.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like the songs pick up a lot of like sauce like after they're final and after they're done, because those extra little pieces of like arrangement, like, oh, like let's all stop here for like a half second and like all come in together again, or like, oh, let's have Bobby just like fucking go nuts insane here because there's nothing else happening. It's like those things are never like talked about and planned. They just like happen once or almost happened once, and we're like, yo, wait, run that back. Like that, or like that triggered an idea. So it's like, we're just very thankful that we get to play a lot together. And that's something we want to do a lot more. It's like, we've been very show focused recently with our just getting people's schedules together. So it's like a lot of what's coming up is like slowing down the shows a little bit, so each one is a little bit more special, a little bit more, you know, scarce. But it's to give us time to like write more and just like get in that like cooking pot where we can make things that are, you know, really cool and stylish and full of fun moments. Because that's what it is interjecting moments. Because you can have a song and a structure that's written well, but like that's what makes people scream during the song, is like when you do a little something special the second time, or like the first time you introduce something, you like get really unison and cheesy with it. You know, it's like you have to feel it out first before you can make those decisions.
That's interesting. I never heard about it that way. Like, it's little moments that people like care about. It's not the actual.
Right. I mean,
the song, but, you know what I mean? But
exactly. The song
moments that makes them want to come back type of thing. That's pretty cool.
It's like the frosting, you know. Yeah. It's like you can't just have frosting, or like it's not a listenable song, you know. Yeah. But the frosting is what makes people go like, "Whoa, that's like a real rock band up there," you know.
I love chocolate cake, but this frosting was fucking great.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Fuck yeah, dude. You guys have all right. We asked you about like the best show you guys ever played. I'm pretty sure you guys got some stories about probably the worst show you guys ever played.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are definitely like some less than ideal like circumstances. But I'll say for me, the worst show I ever played, not for anyone else's fault but my own, was our private debut was actually Noemi's graduation party. And I joined the band with like less than a month. Maybe that's exaggeration, but it was a short amount of time. With like maybe 2 months or something. We could go back and find the files until this graduation party, but it was like we had to fill a lot of time. It was a 45-minute set, and so it's like we had to play all of our songs plus several covers, and I have a larger range now and more control now than I did even then. But like coming in fresh and like all the genre songs, it's like I'm singing like Hayley Williams, Paramore. I'm singing Gerard Way. You know, I'm singing like Eric Butler from like Mom Jeans. It's like these are all high voices, and so you know we played like Helena and like Thank You for the Venom. We played some My Chem songs that like I disgraced. I slaughtered those songs. I was trying to hit notes I had no business trying to hit, but that night was still electric and super fun and crazy, and just the fact, you know, the whole of it was an amazing experience. But it's definitely the worst show I've ever performed. I didn't know what to do with my hands, so it's like my partner Kenny says it a lot that like I had like my baby hands at first, because I would be rocking to the music, but I would do it with like both my fists clenched at the same height, so I'd be going like, and it's like, it just doesn't look cool. It doesn't look cool. One arm, you can rock with one hand. I figured it out, but it was definitely a first time performance for the ages.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we've had some technical difficulties as well.
Book Club 2. We played this. I don't know if you guys know about the venue Book Club. They're actually upgrading. So the venue that we played out,
Book Club.
Yeah. The venue's fantastic. This was probably not their fault.
Yeah. We had some difficulties.
Stuff.
Yeah, it was our stuff, and we had like no sound, and we were trying to fill time because it was like 5 minutes at the beginning of our set that we did not have amp sound. We were starting. We were like at our intro. We were building up the energy, and the amp just shuts off. We have no idea what's wrong. We're like spending 5 minutes trying to figure out and like keep the energy. Eventually, we just gave up and we're like, all right, stop all the music, and we'll figure out what's going on. I think someone bailed us out and lent us an amp head.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty brutal. But I think we figured it out pretty quickly.
We had to cut a song for time. But like, you know, it is what it is. The show goes on. But that night, everyone was cursed. Yeah. Every band on that lineup had a technical difficulty. And you know, was not book club's fault. Book club is great. It was literally just everyone's gear was like shitting out on them. Like someone broke like a snare head or like cracked a cymbal or something.
Yeah, broken string.
Yeah, broken string.
Every band had something wrong.
But also at that show, someone like ripped a pack of Pokemon cards and like pulled a sick foil.
Really?
So, DIY is a wild thing. It was the Safety Society guys.
That's the highlight of the show.
That's what I'm saying. Safety Society's guitarist.
Do we know what card it was?
I don't. I can go back and ask him.
Holographic Charizard.
It was something. It was something hype because they were like, they were like going through the cards like, this is trash, this is trash, this is trash, and like people were kind of like, and he was kind of getting the vibe like, I don't even really know what I'm supposed to be looking for, and then he pulled a card that was like extraordinarily shiny top to bottom, and he was like, let's go. Cheers. It was great.
Nice.
Oh man.
You got any terrible show stories?
I mean, they're all like pretty okay and great to me. I wouldn't say like we had a worse show or anything. We just kind of like make the best of it, or like stuff happens like that and we just like think quickly, or we're just like, oh, like let's kind of put the pieces together kind of thing. Gratefully we all have like that we don't freeze.
Yeah.
Like no one's like,
no one can't get back on the song,
right.
It's like we're pretty good at
let me knock
keeping
on
it going.
wood saying that before
I think we all had like a professional mutual understanding coming in. Like we never talked about this, that like, if something goes wrong, the show has to go on. We're not stopping because that just ruins everything. Like you have to fix it or find some other way.
Improvise.
Yeah, do something. And we've never talked about that. It's like we're all professional enough to realize like you got to do what you got to do. You got to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely like I've talked about it, I've definitely like blanked on lyrics before. It's almost invariably on the last song because I'm just so gassed and I'm having such a good time jumping around with people and thinking to myself, wow, this is the last song. I'm so close to being done, like nothing is hard, and then I miss my my lyrics. But yeah, I mean, I think that everyone just has like a really, we just have a lot of trust in each other, and I have a lot of trust in them as musicians. Like I always say, I'm very blessed to have a lot of really talented people, because it's like it is one thing to like be able to play a song cleanly, but it's another thing for like your bass head to like cut out and like the band just keeps going, and your mission is now figure out what went wrong with my bass head and come back in and figure out where we are in the song and do without missing a beat or like playing a super wrong first note. And like we just went through that at Cobra Lounge, and like it was not noticeable. Like there were people in the crowd who like did not know that anything was really wrong until Al like was knelt down in front of his bass amp like, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the time the crowd doesn't even notice unless you actually stop and you're like, oh fuck, I fucked up. Right. But like yeah, just keep going, man. Yeah, oh yeah.
I was at a show at my place, Ohio, where like one of the, I think it was when King Pink, great band from Oklahoma City, shout out, was playing, and like they were like one of their guitar heads go out, and the guitarist literally turns around, he like fiddles with it for a second, realizes nothing is wrong with like the cables and connections, and just like punches the head of the amp like 3 times and gets like rocking, and it starts working again, and he goes back to playing, and I'm like, we live in a Looney Tunes world. That's wild that that works.
Tom and Jerry.
I can't believe that. He's like punching it in like the face of the head, like not even like not in like the back, like maybe like a tube is loose, but just like boom, boom, boom.
It's rock and roll, baby.
Right? I was like, it was kind of hard.
That's a very common solution, by the way.
Yeah. Works more often than you think.
My guitar's not working. Fuck you. Oh, now it's working. Cool.
Yeah.
You can't pull it out and blow on it and put it back in. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta get that.
I had a chord in my pedal board go out one time. It was a bad chord, and I had no idea what was going on. So I literally had to unplug all my pedals to figure out which fucking chord it was. I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry. Just play the song without me. I'll be right back.
It's like I'll be back after I check these 8 patch cables.
You have no idea. Yeah.
Oh, that's too real.
Yeah.
And that's the worst too, because then you know the pressure's on. That's when the hands start jittering.
You're just on stage, just sweating your ass off, like, all right, fuck, hurry.
Is that like pathetic, like fuck kind of feel?
That's great. I love that.
Well, it looks like we're just about time to wrap up here. Did y'all have any last messages for your listeners, for your fans out there listening in on
I mean,
I have one last question.
Yeah.
We like to inspire the next generation of musicians to, do their thing. What's one piece of advice that you each would give to the next generation of musicians trying to come up?
Don't stop playing, and if you want to play, just do it. Because I thought I started too late, and I just practiced my ass off, and now people are giving me compliments, and I'm still not believing, because I've been doing this for so little time. I feel like I'm the baby here, and I kind of am, but I for the longest time I was like, I don't think I started early enough, but just start playing and see where it takes you.
Yeah, I'll definitely echo that. Like I said, I've only interacted with rock music and original music by being a bass player for so much of my life. You can just start doing the thing that you feel called to do. Just pick it up and start doing it, and it might not gel with the first group of people you find, but you'll find people who are at your skill level or willing to work with you where you are. And even if it's your first thing, do it, or do it alone. That's fine too. But for my individual piece of advice, just go to shows. Just actually show up and go to shows. And if you enjoyed someone's set and you go up and you give them a specific compliment about their set, whatever that specific compliment is,
Good set, bro.
right? If you go literally one word past good set, bro. If you go that was great drumming, or it's your facial expression when you play that solo was sick, dude. Go to shows, introduce yourself to people, give them one real compliment, and you'll have so many connections and so many opportunities, you don't know what to do with yourself. It's that easy. And I know it sounds crazy, but just go to shows.
It's true.
Go to 5 shows and you will see the same person at least 3 of them, and that's your new best friend.
Yep.
And I swear to God, it's that easy. It's just hard to get going out there. It's hard to put yourself out for the first time.
Yeah, agree on both of that. And me from the beginning, just putting myself out there was for some reason so hard for no reason, and then going to shows in my mind was so scary for some reason. But then once you again put yourself out there, once you're out there you're fine. But also just my advice would be follow through with anything, the project, hitting up those people, going to the show, planning the show, follow through with everything that either you have goals for or that you say that you're gonna do, because that could easily dwindle up into something else. But just stick to your plan. Everyone obviously has their own goals and aspirations, so just stick with it, and you'll come out with something really cool, a positive outcome, and you'll be proud of yourself in the end, and so will your friends that you've made with the community that you have and everything. So that's us.
Definitely.
That's
Absolutely. As far as if there's anything else that we want to cover just before we hop off, I'll take care of the business stuff and say, if you want to see us live, and we would love to see you there, it's a party, it's fun, it's an environment of love and kindness you wouldn't believe in the Chicago DIY scene. It's crazy. Come see us at Pork Chop. Their speakeasy is called Meat and Whiskey this Friday, July 5th. You can also see us July 14th at Yardapalooza. It's going to be an all-day music festival. Look up AKA Ryan online. Even if you just go follow our band page, you can find the poster for the info, just because Yardapalooza doesn't have its own website yet. And if you're listening to this in the future and you didn't catch it until the VOD, then you might still be in time to see us July 28th at Brothers Sports Bar. We're going to be hosting some fellas from Cleveland. They're going to be great. And it's going to be another Antillion headliner. We're closing out the night. So that'll be the proper celebration, more or less, of our EP, which is Aftertaste. And that comes out July 12th. It's going to be not this coming Friday, but next Friday. And we hope you enjoy it. There's a couple songs out now. Go give them a listen. But it's a dish that'll be best enjoyed front to back, and we can't wait for you to hear it.
Heck yeah.
You guys have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Good, yeah.
We got the shout-outs out to all the important people.
You covered it.
Yes.
Let's go. Yeah. One other person who's in chat who I want to shout out as well, just because they're also a part of the DIY scene, a pillar here. Brian Blanco.
Ooh. What's up,
Thanks for
Brian?
saying hi in the chat. Definitely love you. Also, a past and I'm sure future proprietor of a local DIY venue. Yeah. Seriously, it's so easy to go out there and make friends. If you're a musician, go do that. Show up to shows. People will recognize you. It'll be great before you know it.
And if you're not a musician, still go.
Seriously,
Yeah.
seriously, support people, support your local scene, support your homies.
Oh yeah, man.
Gotta show up if you want to be seen, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Also, check these guys out on social media. Antillion Band on Instagram. They're also on YouTube. Check them out on all the social media platforms. Give them a follow, give them a like, give them a love, leave some comments. Let them know that you first saw them on Hawk Wins.
Seriously.
We also have a couple other messages real quick we can get to. Marley wanted to say, I really enjoyed listening to the convo. Have a great 4th of July tomorrow. Thank you so much, Marley. We greatly appreciate the love and the comments. And Wergy, woo!
Let's go!
Let's go!
Shout out.
Shout out to you,
I know.
Wergy.
Let's go.
Wergy spelled W-H-E-R-G.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. This is a really fun show, and again, for those of you who are first-time listeners to Hawk Wins, we do this every Wednesday night, and we have different bands, we have different people with different backgrounds, so tune in every Wednesday, check out some of our other shows, and be sure to share the link if you enjoyed, and be sure to check out Antillion.
Next week we might have a special show.
Oh, Jay, every week is special. So, thank you guys again so much for joining us. Jay, what do you want to send everyone out with? Do we have any special messages, aside from keeping your fingers on the 4th of July?
Make sure you have all your fingers intact. And just to go back what they were saying, just go to a local show. Just do that.
Go to a
That's
local
going to
show?
be the challenge for this week.
Yeah.
Or for the rest of the year.
And give someone a comment. A really good friend of mine always says at any party he hosts, he goes, introduce yourself to someone you would have never talked to before, or just introduce yourself to anyone. You never know where one of your next best friends might come from. So
Just a simple, hey, what's up?
hey, what's up? Hey, love your set. Hey, how you doing?
Good set, bro.
Good set. So thank you all for joining us. My name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
Thanks for tuning in, and Hawk Wins.
Peace.